If you really, really want it, yeah, all you gotta do is get up on DJ Hears Out. You know what I'm talking about. You know what's going on. And DJ Hears Out. All I want is for you. You to comment down below, will you? For you I'll make a sacrifice. So apparently, a clip of the reunion came out, and thanks to Brown Skin Girl, I was able to listen to a clip in her commentary, and she had a clip. So I'm just gonna play some of the voice recording on the clip.
If she would be willing to come on the girls' trip, and she was going to tell Letitia, hey, I didn't know he was married. This was years ago.
No, special question.
Ain't nobody coming on the show.
This is an intelligent adult. How would Mel know what she was going to come on the show and say?
Okay, so this is a piece of that. So remember, that's on Brown Skin Girl's channel, but it was also played on several people's channel, the audio, whatever. But that's one that I decided to take the clip from. So y'all go check out her channel, and she gives a commentary on how she feels about the situation as well, which I feel is pretty decent. So y'all definitely go check it out. Okay, so basically from that clip, you also see Martel standing up for Melody at one point when Marsau becomes back and forth combative with Melody. And Melody also goes on to say this.
Conversation,
How did it start?
It's none of your business, because look, I know the story. So let me be very clear.
Who said you should come on the girls' trip?
So let me be very clear.
How did she even know about the girls'
So let me be very clear. I never said
You're not being very clear.
If you would hurt
You're
me,
making up a story.
you know what? I'm not going to sit here and argue with legs, hips, and breasts. I'm good.
I'm sorry. That kind of got me. That was a little funny. I'm not supposed to sit here and argue with legs, hips, and breasts. But I was trying to figure out, you know, was she talking about Marsau? Was she talking about Tisha? Because Tisha was arguing, but she kind of wasn't. But then, too, Melody usually doesn't have an issue with Marsau, because Marsau normally doesn't come for Melody. So this is my first time seeing him come for Melody. But Tisha normally checks Melody. So maybe legs, hips, and breasts might be Letitia, because Tisha looks good. I'm not gonna lie. On this show, this was this brown sequence dress. Her legs are exposed. Her legs are really nice. Her hips are hipping apparently. I mean, you can't really see it sitting down, but I can imagine she's always had a good shape. And her breasts are out, like they're breasting. So hey, she's giving it to the ladies, baby. I'm not gonna cap. She looks like she might be the best dressed woman there, but I haven't really seen the show yet. I'm about to go back and watch it. I'm just looking at the clip. So go Tisha for that, girl. You is bringing that action for sure on what you got on. So shout out to Miss Tisha, baby, because she married and she letting people know and showing off all her rights, like why he's still with her, and I understand, chick. Okay, so here's my commentary on the situation. First of all, I can see why Marsau and Tisha are coming for Melanie. First of all, for one, Marsau, if he did take part in said actions, he does not want to admit to it. He would go to his grave allegedly and not admit to it. I mean, who would? Because that's messing up him and Tisha's livelihood. And same thing with Tisha. Until she sees something in her face, why would she agree with anything that's bringing drama and scarcity to her livelihood, her marriage? Because she built her marriage and home as a stay-at-home mother, a wife, and a business cohort or woman as well. And she's also helped her mother, you know, become, you know, in her own independent situation as well. So with that being said, you got to fight that to nail and teeth. Whether it's truth or not, ladies, I would recommend until you see something for yourself, you can't really take the opinions on everybody else. Now, she's seen it herself physically, Marsau and some woman together. I'm sure she'll be like, oh, okay, well, dang, what's going on? If she hear a conversation that's out the way, I'm sure Tisha would say something. But until that, don't manifest that into your relationship. Don't manifest that into your life. And just because people say something about your marriage doesn't mean it's true. So I do commend Tisha for that, because I feel like that's being a strong wife, a strong woman. Because if all this is going around, something should pop in her lap. Not no pictures, no photos or backs, or something should pop in her lap. Not saying that he isn't doing it, because I believe he is. But that's just my opinion, and that's allegedly. And not saying I don't believe he's doing it currently. To be honest, I don't think he would have been doing anything the last year, you know, or more, because of all the drama that's been coming around him, and he knows that people are trying to out him and put him on blast. So for that, if he's changed, you know, focus on that change. Just like I said with Marsau, Martel, I feel like he's changing too. And for one, I'm so glad he stood up for his girl, because he's going to forever do that. And eventually you'll see that clip of him doing that.
Okay, there seems to be this odd conversation that has taken place. You think it was Melody making stuff up with this woman?
I know. I don't think I know.
Okay. Melody obviously feels strongly that there's information she knew that was going to come on the show or not. The part that seems, well, in terms of validity.
Well, if you come in at Melody, I've never really known, so why would she bring somebody to the show if you guys are coming in?
She tried.
She tried. No, I understand. What's wrong with that? If you guys are coming at her.
Okay, so what I say is, like I said, Camille Martel on defending Melody, because that's what a man does if they're not together. They're still of his kids. But what's wrong with it? What I would say is wrong with it is because when you are supposed to be cool with somebody, especially if you work with somebody, you don't want to bring drama their way. But I see why she would do it, because it was brought to her doorstep. But at the same time, I don't feel like anybody's place to bring something so controversial to someone's doorstep. I'd rather it apply, you know, naturally. So I would say that's what's wrong with it, because you already know that Marsau and Tisha are going to they're going to deny everything until something is put in their face. So if you're bringing it to their face, I feel like that's a direct threat. That's a direct coming for their jugular, and a direct put it in your face. But, I mean, normal people do that. So I don't see nothing really wrong with it, besides the fact that because her and Tisha are not cool. You know what I'm saying? But they are working together. So for that, I would try to keep the peace. But I guess also she wants to save face, because people think she's lying, because she's been said that Marsau, including Martel, has made hints that, you know, maybe there's something going on in other relationships besides just with his situation. And that does bring me to the facts of what I was thinking about recently, of what, you know, because Tisha, I believe, is more so mad at Melly, not because she's jealous, but because she also feels that interest that Marsau gives her, you know, composed to her. And she's that ideal woman. Like, she does not combative. She's a yes woman, but still Melody is kind of combative and, you know, her own boss. And she probably feels like Melody is nothing like her, so why is Marsau so invested? And then you hear about them having these private meetings. And she didn't know about that. As a friend, if you meet with somebody's husband, whatever it's about, usually it is best to let somebody know, or just have him call. That looks suspicious. For you to find out years later on national TV that your man and this woman that you're barely cool with are meeting together privately, that is going to make you feel away. And because as a woman, like, I would just feel comfortable to let her know, even though it could have been more about Marsau. Part of me is questioning and wondering if it had anything, about Martel, but part of it is making me wonder if her conversation was dealing with Marsau. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's why she didn't bring it up. Like, maybe it was talking about Martel at first, but then Melly could have confronted Marsau allegedly. Now, everything I'm saying is alleged. I have not talked to anybody. I don't know their situation personally. I'm just using context clues and my own interpretation. So thank y'all for listening. So with that being said, what if Mel is in the process of checking, Marsau about information about Martel's dynamic and cheating infidelity situation, and Marsau volunteers himself to give details or try to smooth over the situation when they have their private meeting. However, you know how Melody is, she's straight to the point. Let's just say Melody at one point came out and said, Marsau, now I've been hearing the same thing is going on with you. Let's just say she did. So, and Marsau and her was like, yo, let's keep this to ourselves, to this and that. And maybe that's why they didn't tell Tisha. And I can see that being a reason why they didn't put it out that they had met. If some of the conversation was about Marsau, and of course he's going to deflect and deny and everything else. But let's just say part of that conversation was concerning Marsau's infidelity as well. And so therefore Tisha didn't have too much to worry about, but I guess she kind of still, would. So just to recap my thoughts, I can see how it would be messy if, for the Marsaus, because they don't like the drama, and then to have someone come on and put it on Front Street for everybody, that is bringing the outside issue to their doorstep. So I can see how that would be offensive. But like I said, I agree with Melody, and I understand why, because she's not really cool with Tisha, and Tisha and Marsau were part of the reason she may feel that Martel, was doing what he was doing, and how they pushed it in her face and pushed it in their face with the kickback, make it seem like it was only him, when in fact there was rumors that allegedly Martel was not the only one having outside marital affairs. And I love the fact that Kimmy, and Maurice is kind of just chilling, taking it all in. But I don't really like how Marsau came for Melody. But then, too, that's how he's going to be. Like, he'll be nice, but if you come for him, he's going to hit you at the jugular. And he probably won't ever be cool with Melody again, because at first I feel like he was and had much respect for her, which is probably good, because why are you so cool with Martel's wife? I feel like he's more cooler to Melody than Martel. And I don't know who knew who first, but yeah, that's how I be getting sometimes. But after today, I feel like, no, he's not really fooling with her, because she tried to bring the drama to his doorstep. But I want to know what you feel down below for sure, because what I say is only part of the piece. I'd like to know your opinion, so please comment in the comment section down below. Why you gonna do me like that? DK his ass, we out, we out. DK his out, we out, we out. Why you gonna do me like that? Gotta go right now. Gotta go right now. When the party's they lit, it's hard to leave, gotta leave his out. Gotta leave his out. Stay up, stay lit. You a vibe right now. You a vibe right now. Don't have to go home, but you gotta get the hit going out the door. Gotta get the home hit going out the door. Until next time, I see you, let's go.